Hi everybody, Tim here with tonight's episode of Star Trek The Next Generation, Season 6, Episode 26, and Season 7, Episode 1, Descent. So originally I was going to do this episode live, but we're coming into the last season now, and I'm going to do all the movies live, so you guys are probably going to get sick of me doing live videos. So I just record this one, and to be honest, this is probably one of the weaker of the season finales, in my opinion, at least as far as the two-parters go. Because, let's see, we got from Season 2 to 3, Best of Both Worlds, and then Redemption, Time's Arrow, and then this one, Descent. Not counting, like, the series premiere and series finale. Like, Best of Both Worlds is probably the best, and then Time's Arrow, and then probably Redemption. Like, I'm not a big fan of Redemption because it's just Klingon politics. And then this one. Like, I just felt like this one's pretty weak. So I'll just kind of start from the top and just work my way down because I don't really even have that many notes for this one. So this episode's kind of unique in the very beginning. We have Data and he's playing poker. Presumably everybody else is busy or at work or something like that because he's playing it in the holodeck with other with real people, real historical people. So like Albert Einstein's in there, Stephen Hawking's in there, and then Isaac Newton's in there. So this episode's kind of unique because this is the first time an actual person has played themselves in the series. In this case, it's Stephen Hawking. So that's pretty cool that he was able to do that. And I believe this is now the second time we've seen Albert Einstein. I think the first was the episode where Lieutenant Barclay, becomes super intelligent because he starts questioning Albert's different stuff. And it's fun to see Hawking's and Einstein kind of go back and forth about different stuff. So this episode starts with a Borg attack, and during this, like, Worf and Geordi are under fire and all sorts of stuff's going on, and Data grabs one of the Borg and just starts screaming at him to stop what he's doing, and he gets angry and he throws the Borg. He snaps its neck and he throws it. And so it's interesting because when he's doing this, the other Borgs that are attacking are like, oh, this Borg has been attacked, and they start referring to themselves as I, and they're showing concern for other Borg. And so it's kind of, you can tell right away that something's not quite as it seems. And so Data is a little perplexed because he says that this is the first time he's felt emotion, which isn't quite true because if you go back to like Deja Q gave him that laughter, that personality for just like a brief moment. He's able to experience laughter, which technically laughter is not an emotion, but if he's laughing then he felt joy or humor, so it's kind of a gray area. But in this case I'm going to say that this is not technically Data's first emotion. And from here it just boils down super quick, and like I said, I'm not a huge fan of this one. Maybe I'm just boiling it down too much, or I'm just not in the right mood, because when you binge long shows like this, like, you kind of get to that rough area where you're just kind of like, okay, next episode. And I try to avoid that, but sometimes it's unescapable. And so maybe this episode was that for me. You guys kind of let me know. Because it turns out, to just kind of jump straight to the end, that Lore, Data's evil older brother, I think he was the older one, has been controlling the Borg. And he's also sending out this wave that's causing Data to feel emotion. And it's kind of interesting because the Borg have like this weird ship. It's not just a Borg cube or a Borg sphere, which I don't think we've actually seen a sphere yet. I think we've only seen the cubes. And so they track it to Lore's Borg compound, which, if you guys have ever seen this episode, you're like, that compound looks familiar. I mean, this episode came out like 1992, 1993, and in this heyday, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, show my age a little bit, that's like the main that's their headquarters. It's also from Star Trek 6, The Undiscovered Country. No. Was it 6? It was where Kittimer was. So it's kind of interesting. Like, the compound looks familiar. So from here, they beam down to the planet and all sorts of stuff's going on. Crusher is put in command temporarily, where she's like acting Captain Crusher. So I thought that was kind of interesting because I was talking to my husband about this. Like, command is always in red. And I'm curious what the highest ranking individual is that wears like a yellow or a blue, because like we saw Admiral McCoy but he wasn't really wearing, he was retired at that point. But we've never seen a captain that is in blue or yellow. So I'm just curious why it always has to be red. I don't know, maybe I'm reading too much into it, but I feel like we should be able to see that. And in the original series, like, some no-name admiral was in blue. And I know in the series finale we do see Captain Crusher, but then she's in like this futuristic red outfit. So I don't know, would you guys be interested in ever seeing somebody in blue or yellow with 4 pips, or is this just me? So go ahead, let me know. And from there, it just kind of spirals even quicker. We realize the emotion ship comes into play that we've seen before in the last episode, where the sons of Sung are together, and he's supposed to put the emotion chip in Data, but Lore tricks him. And this episode kind of, so at the end of the episode, Data basically kills Lore and steals the emotion chip. He's going to go destroy it, but Geordi stops him to say, you know what, this might come in handy later. And it does, because this episode basically gets a sequel in Star Trek Generations, the first Next Generation movie, where it's basically like part of the main plot is Data installing the emotion chip and kind of going through those experiences. So I'm glad that they didn't just like brush it aside and forget about it. It does come back, and it is very important, which is part of the reason why Generations is definitely one of my favorite movies. So like I said, I boiled it down super quick. For those who have seen this 2-parter, what did you think? Like I said, this is definitely on the lower part for me personally. Did you guys love it? If so, why? If you hated it, go ahead and let me know. Thank you guys for everything. I appreciate all of you. I'm super excited to be going into the final season of The Next Generation with you guys, and I will see you tomorrow for Liaisons.